CEO of MD Sass Associates, who says it's going to take several more months before we see any sustainable rebound in oil. But do you feel, Martin, that we are starting to feel for a bottom here in oil prices?
Not yet.
Okay.
This reminds me of 1986 when the Saudis increased output. Oil went down way further than anybody expected. It went from $35 to $10. I think the same thing's happening now. We're in a situation where the Saudis can tough it out, and they plan to do that. They don't want to lose market share, so they're actually increasing output, not cutting output. And it's going to take time for other producers to cut. By the way, I'm leaving right after here. I'm going to meet with the CEO of a major energy company, and I'm meeting with 6 more later today. So,
what's your big question for them?
Well, I think that, by the way, they're all in denial. So the ones I've spoken to so far, they have these pitches to Wall Street analysts about the outlook. And it's all la-di-da.
And they're all in denial about oil
look
prices?
Look at the contango in oil, and it's up there in the 80s, and this is just, you know. It depends.
So, by the way, Mark, in the 80s, what you're talking about when Saudi Arabia last sort of, beefed up its chest and said, we're going to produce until you can't do anything anymore, we got oil down to like $10 a barrel, right?
Right.
So do you think that we have anything like that ahead of us now?
No. So I think the good news is most of the damage in the oil price decline is behind us. I think it's still heading south, but we're not going to $10. So nobody really knows where it's going to end up, because it's not only the normal supply and demand factors, but there's a lot of speculators in the oil market, financial speculators, and those guys aren't completely washed out yet. So the next step here is going to be, and this hasn't happened yet, is shutting down. They are cutting that. Yeah, they're cutting CapEx now. That's already happening. Schlumberger was one of the earliest intelligent players to actually cut headcount. Next step, you're going to see some marginal producers actually go out of business. They're highly levered. Their costs of finding costs are very high, and they're going to have trouble refinancing. I think we're going to see distressed debt in the high yield market soar in terms of the amount of distress in energy, and then you're going to see defaults there in the
a lot of M&A.
You'll see M&A in the second half of.
Is that big enough, by the way, to destabilize the financial markets at all?
Well, I think there are ripple effects that are destabilizing towards the market. So I think that's a good point. I think one of the things happening here, Betty, is we're seeing increased volatility in the market, which I think is going to be characteristic of 2015, not only because of oil, but because of a lot of macro factors. We have Fed rate hikes likely to be forthcoming. We have Europe and teetering on recession. We have
Greece
China
now.
Greece.
Do you have? Is there one way to play this in the equity markets? Is you have one stock pick for us?
Well, if you want one pure play, you got a picture of an airline up there. So I've advocated U.S. Air on Betty's show back from 18 last year, and then it continued as it merged with American, and it is the best pure play. It is the only pure play on lower jet fuel prices amongst the major airlines. They're totally unhedged.
Because they haven't hedged, yeah.
They haven't hedged, and they have no profit-sharing agreement with their employees on fuel savings. So it flows right through. It's going to add about $2 billion to the bottom line based on where jet fuel is annually.
Which is going right into modifying the airplanes, right? $2 billion.
That's exactly right. Better seats.
Right into improving your customer experience.
Yeah,
Getting those macadamia nuts to you. Wow.
Exactly.
On a plate. Only on a plate. I won't eat them any other way, Betty.
Not on plastic, on real. Okay. Thank you so much, Martin.
My pleasure.
For joining us. Martin Sass, the Chairman and CEO of MD Sass and Associates.